So up until now, you've been looking at investments and payments and future value, present value, things like that. The questions in this lesson are going to become a little bit more complex. And if you look at the heading, it says solving investment portfolio problems. An investment portfolio is one or more investments. So maybe where you have more than one thing going on, we want to find ways to kind of combine them and look at the big picture. Okay, so let's look at the first one. It's actually a pretty tricky question. It says Phyllis started to build a portfolio, an investment portfolio for her retirement. So this means more than one thing going on. First of all, she purchased a $500 Canada savings bond at the end of each year for 10 years. So she's done this for 10 years. The first 5 Canada savings bonds earned a fixed rate of 4.2% compounded annually. The next 5, so they're kind of being in 2 groups here, earned a fixed rate of 4.6% compounded annually. 3 years ago, she also purchased a GIC. That's a guaranteed investment certificate that earned 6% compounded monthly. What is the value of the portfolio after she started to invest, 10 years after she started to invest? Okay, let's look at the savings bonds first. Let's look at the first 5 that she did. Okay, the first 5, she earns 4.2%, and she's doing this once a year, so she's going to make 5 payments over 5 years. 5 times 1 payment per year. Okay, she starts with nothing, and the payment is $500. All right, compounded annually. So if we do that, we'll put it into our TVM solver, you end up with $2,719.01. So that's, after 5 years, that's what the first Canada savings bonds become worth. Now, at the end of the 5 years, she starts a new plan for the next 5. But what happens to these 5? What happens to this amount for the next 5 years? It becomes an investment. So we're going to put this in for 5 years, making only 1 payment per year. It's just the reinvestment. Okay, she's still making 4.2%. But now the payments have stopped. Okay, she's going to go make payments over here. We'll do that in a minute. This is just the initial 5. What's going to happen for the last 5 years? Okay, it's compounding once a year. And if I put that, I end up at the end of the 10th year. This is what the first 5 Canada savings bond end up. Okay, so let's highlight that. That's the first 5. Now let's look at the second 5. Okay, so again, it's going to be 5 times 1. This time the interest rate's 4.6. We're going to start with nothing, and we're going to invest $500 per month. And we're going to get 1 payment per year, compounded annually. Okay? Put that into your TVM solver, and you end up with $2,740.83. That's the second 5 Canada savings bonds. Okay, so we've got those 2 investments taken care of. Now let's look at the GIC. The GIC purchased 3 years ago, so it's going to be for 3 years. Purchased it for $4,000, compounded at 6% monthly. Okay, is that right? Yeah, compounded monthly. Okay, so how many payments? Well, there's 3 times 1, because just the reinvestment of each one. The initial payment or present value is $4,000, and they're not going to make any monthly payments. Okay, so what is that GIC worth after 3 years? Well, let's try it. Okay, so we're going to have 6%. Payment is negative 4,000. We're going to put no payment in, This is going to be 1. This is going to be 12. So what is the final value? The final value is $4,786.72. Okay, so what is the total portfolio? Well, we're going to take and add $4,786.72. We're going to add $2,740.83 and $3,040.02. And if we add that all up, should end up with $10,867.57. All right. Phyllis found a savings account that earned 4.9% compounded semi-annually. She redeemed her portfolio because interest rates went up and invested all the money in the savings account. About how long will it take? About how long? So this is an estimate. How long will it take to double her money? Do you remember how to double your money? How we do that? The rule of 72. 72 divided by the interest rate. You get 14.69. So I'm going to say approximately 15 years to double their money. All right. Let's look at an even more complex one. Jason and Malik are each hoping to buy a house in 10 years. They want their money to grow so they can make a substantial down payment. So let's take a look at Jason's portfolio and then we'll look at Malik's portfolio. Okay? Let's see if we can put it all together. So we've got it separated here. Let's first of all figure out the total investment. Okay. Jason says he's going to invest $2,000. In a savings account, he's going to invest $55 every week for 10 years. Okay, and he's got a savings bond that he's going to invest at $4,000. So let's list. He's going to invest. The GIC is $2,000 into savings. This is not the interest. This is just how much he's going to invest. In other words, put in. He's going $55 times 52 weeks in a year for 10 years. Okay, and then he's going to have a bond, which is $4,000. If we add these three totals, the total invested is going to be $34,600. Okay, so that's a pretty substantial investment. Now let's go look at Malik's. Malik's got a tax-free savings account. By the way, what's a tax-free savings account? You're allowed to put in a certain amount of money into the bank and not be charged income tax on the interest. Okay, you guys don't have to worry about that right now. You don't make enough money to be charged income tax, but once you start making a little bit more money, this is a way that you don't have to pay income tax on some of your money. Okay, and it says TFSA is $5,600. Then he's got a Canada Savings Bond, and he's doing that $500 once a year for 10 years, so that's $5,000. And then he's got savings of $24,000. So what's the total? Hey, what do you know? They're going to invest the same amount of money. All right. Well, let's take a look at how their money grows in their investments. Okay, let's look at Jason first. Okay, Oh, by the way, where did Malik's savings come from? 200 a month. So 200 times 12 times 10. Okay. All right. So Jason, he's got a 10-year GIC of $2,000. Let's take a look at that one. So he's going to put in $2,000. He's going to do it for 10 years, reinvest it every year. That's what 10 times 1 is. So one payment. No money being put in monthly. It says it has an interest rate of 4.2% compounded twice a year. So what does that equal after 10 years? It's going to be $3,030.71. Okay. Now let's look at the savings. So this was the GIC. Let's look at the savings. Okay, the savings is putting in $55 a week. So how do we say that? Well, if you're doing $55 every week, that's 52 payments. So 10 years times 52 payments. All right, and getting 1.8%. Savings account do not have very good interest rates. It has weekly, compounded weekly. All right, present value is 0. So starting with nothing, what is this going to end up being? $31,329.72. Okay. Lastly, we've got the bond. Okay. Now, what's going on with the bond? Okay, let's take a look at that. It says a 5-year bond that earns 3.9% compounded quarterly, which will be reinvested in another bond at an interest rate of 4.1. Okay, so what we've got is we've got the first 5 years and then the second 5 years. Okay, so we've actually kind of got to break this into two parts because we're going to have to reinvest that amount. Okay, so let's take the first 5 years. So it's going to be 5 times 1 and starts with, is it 3.9%? It's going to be a $4,000 bond. Payments are nothing. And how many times am I paying a year? Once, just reinvested, and it's compounded quarterly. So this gives you $4,856.65, which will now become the present value for the next 5 years. Okay, and make sure that this becomes negative here now. All right, we're going to invest that again for 5 years. This time the interest rate's a little bit better, 4.1. Make no monthly payments, and it's still 1 and 4. So what is this going to be worth? It's going to end up at $5,955.44. So what is the total portfolio worth? Well, we're going to add this, this, and this. Those three amounts. You're going to end up with $40,000, $40,315.87. Okay? Now, pause the video for a second and see if you can do the same thing for Malik. See if you can figure out what's going on with this TFSA. Okay, so he puts in $5,600. All right, this is going to be 10 times 1 for 10 years, investing it, just reinvesting it every year at 2.2% compounded monthly, 0 payments. So what's this worth? this turns out to be worth $6,976.62. Okay. Now let's look at the Canada Savings Bond. Canada Savings Bond is going to be a little different because you're going to make a payment of $500 every month. Okay, sorry, every year. Interest rate is 3.6, compounded each year. Payments 1 per year. At the end of every year, we're reinvesting. Start with 0. What do we end up with? Okay. Last, let's look at the savings. So savings, what are we doing? We're going to make $200 payments. We're going to make them every month. So for 10 years, if I make 12 payments, there's going to be 120 payments. Interest rate is 1.6%, compounded monthly. If we start with nothing, what do we end up with? 26,000. I can't read my own writing. I think that says 00787. Okay. What's the total portfolio? Well, we're going to add each of my final values. And we should end up with $38,877.37. So that's what their total portfolio is worth. Now it wants us to do a little bit of evaluation on them. Okay, first of all, we want to do the interest earned. Okay, now easy way to do the interest earned here is let's take the how much we ended up with, the final value, and how much we put in originally. So we're going to have 40,315.87, take away 34,600, and you end up with 5,000. Now this is actually a really good thing. $5,715 of interest. That's money given to you because you've put your money into some account somewhere to earn interest. So that's free money. Okay. This guy is going to be earning a little bit less in interest. Looks like he only earns $4,277.37. Okay. So there's where we are so far. Now it wants to do something called the rate of return. Now this is something I told you to put on your cheat sheet. All right, what is the rate of return? The rate of return is interest over the P, the principal amount, and then we're going to multiply by 100. So we're going to get $5,715.87 over $34,600 multiplied by 100. And we get a 16.5% return. All right. Let's try the rate of return for Malik. His interest is $4,277.37, and he invested the same amount. And he ends up with 12.4% rate of return. So this means Jason has a better rate of return. Okay. Here's the rate of return formula, by the way, if you want to write that down on your formula sheet. Okay. Anything that you think is going to help you remember something. So if there's been anything that during the notes that, you know, kind of tipped you off or kind of made you go, oh yeah, I have to remember that, make sure that goes in your cheat sheet. Okay? That'll help you in the long run. All right. What's the homework? Page 64. Numbers 1 to 5.